and it's a disservice to the residents of St. Croix, of course.
So.
Yeah, and I agree, and there wasn't anything. See, what really happened was we were so busy with the finance meetings, other meetings that we were having, that everybody was just getting the business done. And although we passed the money, the governor didn't sign anything into laws yet, and we couldn't access that money. And we ain't taking a loan, but the reality is we need the money, and we're working on it. And we apologize to all of the residents in St. Croix, because you really need an apology. Okay?
Because I prefer speed and justice.
Of course, and because you could then see the dynamics, which you need to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree, and we've been working hard. We've been putting on alternate shows like Messages and other things, and the TV, legit TV, to make it a lot more interesting. And to have it go down at this time was like really a very sad.
These are crucial hearings.
Yes, very crucial. Okay, and so you could imagine how we felt. So we'll have it played, and the one with the Whopper, Mr. Hodge gave a very extensive report, and I'm sorry that our people in St. Croix couldn't even see it. I'm hoping, I saw it last night, and I called the executive director, and they were playing it.
Okay.
And a lot of the things that may have been missed will be replayed, okay? But we're working on it, and keep on our tail, because
I call regularly. I call St. Thomas and I call St. Croix, both legislature buildings.
Yeah. We've been getting your calls, and we're very aware of that. Okay?
Have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you. Good morning, Carla.
Good morning, Senator. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I too miss yesterday's alleged viewing.
Yes.
And you know what it is? Even if there's something wrong, let them just put a notice on the station saying something is wrong. They start Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you see nothing for Thursday, nothing for Friday, it's off. So I think the public has to be notified. A little statement saying we're out of order and we expect to be back certain times. Don't just leave it hanging.
Yes, and we're listening to you very carefully. And my apologies. I know a lot of people watch it, and because it involves such an important topic that touches a large part of our community, it was really sort of egregious that we couldn't have it done in St. Croix. So I felt very bad about that.
Right. Now, what disturbed me this morning is that report that somebody died in Christiansted.
Yes.
A woman?
Yes.
A teenager. A
teenager got stabbed to death in Christiansted. I really don't go out in the night, I'm not blaming anything, but how does a woman?
Yeah, teenager.
There were 5 females who were injured, and one died. And there's another one in critical condition.
Women?
Women.
Oh, God. I have nothing more to say than it's a social problem.
Yes, it is. But and I know you may have heard me when I started, and I'm incensed, but I have to be also circumspect as to how are we going to attack this social problem and really change course where we're going, It's not going to happen overnight, but we got to begin now. I have some ideas, but it is very troubling. You could imagine the parent of a teenager
receiving a call.
Yes. Yeah.
An accident, which is another issue.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
But to say your daughter was involved in a fight and she lost her life.
Yep.
What are we going to do about the social problems? What can we do? It's very disturbing.
Yes. I'll tell you, there has to be some major change in direction regarding the education system. That's where we have contact with them and where we can shape their values. And that's a first component. The second component that I see as very important is it's not housing, parks and recreation, but parks and recreation and then the nonprofit groups that used to offer alternatives. This is where I think we need to focus so that we could start to take them away from having to desire to be out in the streets late at night in environments that just lead to violence. When they drink or they're exposed to certain things, it just leads to violence. And I think we need to move away from that. And I'm not sure that I am fully supported by everybody in the community, but I see that moratorium law was a huge statement for me. And I said it on influence, others said it, and votes were changed. And this is a point of departure. Where are we going in our towns? Really? How do we redevelop them, rehabilitate them to a point where they're attractive and safe?
What we need is God. And
well said.
To do with religion. Nothing.
No, I hear you.
But we need God. That's the only solution. And then you have a Sunday program here, and I'm going to speak about it.
Sure.
A Sunday program on your station, and he calls the people dogs when he refers to them in a very jovial manner. You know, hey dog, what's going on, and all this kind of nonsense. And the topics that come on this Sunday program, you talk about reorganizing the FCC and all this kind of stuff. It needs reorganization. You know.
Okay, they my radio station.
I know, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
You bring it up. You were supposed to bring it up.
That's destroying our society.
Yes.
And we need a restoration. We need it. We need God, and everything else will work better. Thank you.
Well said. And to all the callers, you could call in, express. Good morning, caller.
Greetings and morning.
Greetings and morning to you, Mr. Miller.
How are you doing, sir?
A well-educated, expressive, and rational man.
You're too kind.
And now I know what I'm saying. I just think, I am bringing you on to guest host, you know.
No, guys.
No, I don't thinking about that. No. You could guest host a show. I hope you are interested, and I would like you to plan it and guest host, because you call enough with very, very important commentary that I think you could handle. Come and join Carol one of these days, and you and Carol could have good dialogue. So I just saying that out to you. I meant to tell you that when I saw you, but I don't mind saying it on the air because that's how I really think. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I thank you for the suggestion, and radio is power.
It is.
But in one, I just want to quickly touch on two couple things. You just said about the caller just told you about the radio station which you're on, and you said it's not your radio station.
No, it's not.
But then when you were talking before, you were admonishing another radio station and saying that they need to put people in check.
This one too. If this one does what it does,
in general. Talk radio.
In general, I'm speaking about them. Again, he didn't call any radio station.
No, I won't call a radio station.
In general, I'm speaking, but he did manage another radio station. So all I'm saying is, yes, it's not your radio station, but if this one needs a little pulling up too.
Of course.
On the Sunday program.
Well, of course.
I listen to the Sunday program?
Me?
Yeah.
He's a Muslim. Yeah, so let me leave it there.
Well, not all radio stations. I'm referring to public media.
Yeah.
Whether it is TV, radio. Because what we have, Mr. Miller, happening is a degradation of the expressions that come out of media.
Right.
Okay, and you know what I'm talking about. Right. And if somebody call what the caller said, then it apply to this radio station too. Because I don't listen on Sunday, but if that happens and it offends somebody, and it sounds offensive to me the way she said it.
Right.
You can't call people dog?
Yeah,
Whether you're joking or not.
And I clearly agree with the caller.
Okay.
And what she was saying.
Yeah, so...
Now, my next point is this thing about the death of the young girl.
Yes, please.
And you say we need to really do something about it. Now, we know we're in an economic crisis.
Yes.
And one of the first things in an economic crisis the government does is cut back. And
right.
Cut back on a lot of programs that these young people need for them to, gear them away from violence and put them on a character building track, which is, again, the sporting industry in the schools,
right,
sporting industry out of the schools, programs that could gear their minds into academic directions, either with summer or during school time, etc., etc. So then the question I'm asking is, though we do agree we need to do something, a lot of things for these youngsters so that they won't want to be killing each other in the street or going on the road. How can we accomplish that if, again, we cutting back everything that they need to lift them out of the hole or the moral hole that they're in? You see, that's my concern. I know it's easy to cite that we need to do it, but then, of course, when we try to implement it, it comes down to what available programs that this government or our government has put in place or will want to put in place or might or could put in place dealing with this economic situation to really address this problem.
Mr. Miller, my retort to what you're saying is, you're absolutely right, because many of our youngsters come to school today with a lot of issues.
A whole heap, yeah.
And you know it. You see it every day in your
yeah.
Right. And I find, right, that our government compromises too many of those social programs. And when I say so, let me explain. First of all, I am sick and tired of seeing people placed in positions for which they're not qualified to be in. And it has, to a very serious extent, compromised the intent and the objectives of these programs. So we go ahead and we spend money. We're spending money, but we ain't addressing the issues that needs to be addressed. And so,
and in some cases, we're not spending money.
And we ain't spending,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
So therein lies our dilemma. I mean, it's really deeply rooted.
Let me just, before, I don't want to cut you, but I was just thinking here now. I sat here after we went on vacation from school, and I watched the Wimbledon Championship, right, which is, of course, a tennis championship.
Right.
I see a lot of people in there who are around just either teenage or outer teenage, even because they had junior tournaments, etc., but 20-year-olds and stuff participating and competing in a world-class tournament. I said to myself, in the school system, have not seen, for example, competitive tennis in the school system and competitive tennis, for example, outside of the school system with any fervor. I mean, if you see, like with Venus Williams, the Venus sisters and stuff, and how they have matured into the sport and how they have benefit from competitive sports. Come on, man. If you want to stop our children from hurting themselves and going down the wrong road, whether it's drugs, guns, crime, there is a no-brainer here. The studies have been done. If you develop the sporting industry in our community, you will move them from, you will allow them to engage in team competition versus young competition. And we constantly repeat the same ideas that, okay, we don't know that if we develop the sporting industry, such and such going to happen, but we do not implement it. And every single year we say the same thing, and it's not implemented. And again,